Hey mini enthusiasts, how are you doing? Welcome back. This is part 9 of the Project ERA build. And firstly, I do apologise, I missed a bit of footage out last week, and that was the footage of welding in this M machine floor section here. Don't know why, I get confused. I think each SD card has about 36 video files on it. There's about 4.5–5 hours of footage. So that's roughly got what goes into one of these 20 minutes updates. And yeah, if you know GoPro file ordering system, it can get a little bit confusing. It does it in like chapters and verses or something like that. But anyway, every now and again I get confused. So somehow I missed this bit out. So first few minutes is should have been in last update. So as you can see there, run out of gas. Luckily Mark has a spare bottle on hand. So Mark has 2 gas bottles, and that really comes back from the first project we done, Project Bolt. Run out of gas at the weekend because the gas had been left on. Quite an easy mistake to make. You'll notice since then Mark's got signs up in his garage, I've got signs up in my garage to say turn the gas off after finishing the day, because they tend to have a little bit of a leak from the regulator. I suppose you could seal them up perfectly, but they all tend to leak a little bit. I don't know whether it's through the regulator or through the welder actually, but the result of that is next time you come out to do some welding, you find you've got no gas, you can't do anything, and it's extremely disappointing when you've got like a full weekend planned welding on the Mini, because yeah, those gas bottles you can't just go and buy on a Saturday afternoon. Well, I guess you can if you can find the right supplier, that is. So anyway, long and the short, now we've got 2 gas bottles, so there's always a spare one ready. Obviously much cheaper to use refillable bottles like that. I use disposable ones in my garage, not the small Hobby World bottles, but the slightly larger ones, which are better value, but obviously not nearly as much as a refillable bottle. But the initial outlay is much higher. I think those refillable bottles, it's either 9 or 15 litres. They work at about, I think it's about 120 quid first time round, and about 40–50 quid for a refill. So in the long term they're much cheaper. I guess with me, I always think the last project is the last project, especially my own ones. I think that's it, I'm not doing another one now, and then you always end up getting another project, don't you? So between those mole grips there, up on the sill where it joins the rear quarter, it's hard to see, but there's a screw which is just welded, spot welded onto the bottom of that quarter panel, and that's just because it was sticking in a little bit, only by a few mil, but we had to try and devise some way of pulling that panel out a little bit to get it to line up with the sill section. And in the end, I don't know whether it captures it on this footage, but Mark's got a huge, great big lever bar, and we just use that to pull the panel out a bit. And the floor sections now, I'm just really buttoning up the last little bits now, the last few plug welds in the front and the rear. And then that's really all the structural welding pretty much done. Mark's prepping the front end panels there, removing the stickers. I think I've already talked about that. Did you see how easily he got that sticker off? Bit of brake cleaner. I've struggled for years with that, and then when I saw Mark doing that, I'm like, why have I never thought of doing that? Because the brake cleaner dissolves the glue on the back of the sticker, and then you just peel them off really easily. Last few welds going in on a cross member there. I hate welding like that, leaning over that door brace, welding upside down. It's a less than ideal position. I think the worst is when I have to weld left-handed. Yeah, that generally, they never look nice. I've done some welding on the bulkhead last weekend actually, which was kind of perfect height, perfect angle, everything was perfect about it, and the welds were absolutely beautiful. I'll have to show you that in the next update. But I always say with welding, especially MIG welding, it's all about the preparation of the metal, making sure you're welding good metal, same thickness ideally, power settings right on the welder, cleanliness is the most important thing, and then beside that it's getting into the right position to weld. It all makes a huge difference. So spot welder going there, it's just so quick and easy with that. No lights out in Mark's garage either. Not like mine, but that's all sorted now. If you'd have seen the last Sprout update, no more blackouts. In fact, Mark did have the same issue when he first built his garage, so had to do the same as me, have the garage electrics upgraded. I must get some more classic mini workshop t-shirts done and some hoodies for myself. Mark always does a very good job of promoting the channel, and there's me, my wife makes the t-shirts, and I'm never wearing one. So I'll have to sort that situation out. And as we're into the new year, start thinking about the shows that are coming up. So I'm doing the IMM in Germany, really looking forward to doing that. I shall probably use Project Sprout for that. One, because I don't want to put the miles on PL, it's got enough miles on it already. Vinny is a pretty good car for travelling actually, although with the roll cage in it, yeah, not going to be great for the kids. In fact, nigh on impossible. So I'll probably use Project Sprout for the IMM. Being an MPI Mini, it's got the really long diff in it. I can't remember off the top of my head. It's something like 2.7 to 1. I'm sure someone will remind me in the comments down the bottom. But what that means is you can do 80 miles an hour or 70, 80 miles an hour, which is fine on the German roads at relatively low RPMs, and it's kind of comfortable. It does sacrifice acceleration obviously, so they're always a little bit slower. But for motorway driving, nice, smoother, quieter, and more fuel efficient. So Mark's moved on to the front end now. I would have gone off home, so I'm not sure. This would probably Mark working either Saturday evening or Sunday. And I think I mentioned in the last video, so he's got Sprout subframe at the front there, underneath the car, and I didn't need it back immediately for Sprout, but I'm at the stage where I need it back now. So Mark got the front end on pretty quickly and got it all lined up, so it wasn't an issue there. I've got the subframe back now, and it will be going in Sprout probably tomorrow. Obviously new scuttle tacked in place there, new closing panels going in, so everything forward of the A posts is new. And I think Mark was quite keen to get the front end on, especially the subframing, just to make sure everything lines back up, just because there's been, like I say, everything's new forward of the A panels, or the A posts. In fact, the A posts are new as well, so yeah, the whole front of the end of the car is brand new. And again, been questioned a few times on, well, you know, maybe it would be, you know, better just to buy a whole shell. It just comes down to cost. Heritage panels are not cheap, but if you've got the time, and you've got the skills, it is much cheaper to restore an existing shell than it is to spend what is about 12 grand, I think, on a brand new heritage shell. I mean, there'll certainly be a few £1,000s in panels going into this car, but when you consider it will be a complete shell, completely solid, no rust anywhere at the end of it, and it will be a few £1,000s plus time. Obviously, if you had to pay someone's labour at £30 an hour, then it may make more sense at that point to say, do you know what, let's just buy a whole shell. And with something like this, I think it'd be quite nice to say, like I say, it's done 260 something thousand miles. So yeah, it is like Trigger's broom, but you know, it's still the original car. Some bits of it. Project Bolt sitting there on the left, still waiting to have the engine put back in. So the engine's back from Swift Tune now, boasting 140 brake horsepower, still an A series. I think it'll probably rev to nigh on 8,000 RPM. It's being upgraded to have a front mounted radiator. It's got a Mocal oil cooler kit going on with it, with a special sort of deflector that you use on the Miglia cars, which goes kind of where the front number plate is. It'll have mappable ignition going into it. I can't think what other, there's a few more mods going on that as well, so that'll be back out this year, doing a few more track days. It's already run, I think, 59 seconds on the Brands Hatch Indy circuit, so Mark wants it quicker and quicker. Now obviously there I wasn't there to see Mark fit in the front end. Did speak to him about it afterwards, and he did struggle a bit. It wasn't like it was on Sprout. Sprout was pretty straightforward, to be honest. But I genuinely think that'll be because of the originality of Sprout. It's not been welded, it's not been repaired much in the past, so everything's pretty much where it should be. So you can see Mark using a bit of heat there just to help try and manipulate that wing a little bit, because it was just not lining up great with the scuttle panel there. And again, I've mentioned again recently, heat. Yeah, don't use heat. You shouldn't use heat on any steering or suspension components, because it can change the properties of the metal. So I noticed Mark's got a new angle grinder there. When I went down there last weekend, I noticed he got another one, so now he's got two. I'll take mine down there as well, so we got three. And how many angle grinders is enough? Well, three, obviously not for Kevin Richardson Gentleman's Motor Racing Team or Motor Racing Club. You go and check out his latest video. I think he had about 5 or 6 angle grinders, all with different discs on it, all to hand, all ready to go. Yeah, I think Mark got a bit of angle grinder envy there. Had to double his amount of angle grinders. So you'll notice there the bonnet is still red, so the bonnet hasn't been shot blasted, nor were the doors. They're in pretty good condition, so the bonnet and the doors will be reused. And Mark come up with a great way there using that little trolley. It's got a half-ton hydraulic lift on it, and what that's allowed him to do is pull away the front part of the jig there, so you can get all the front end done, which is a really good way of doing it. Actually, it means the body is still at sort of working height as well. Quite a useful tool, that little trolley, although having somewhere to put it is obviously it's going to take up a bit of storage space. So I'm just wondering what will be the first show for the ERA. I reckon it could be Brooklands. Obviously it's, you know, down to Mark, it's his car. I reckon it should be, will it be done in time for Brooklands, which is end of March? Mark just going around showing the panel gaps here and utilising some washers to get the panel gaps right. Whatever works for you, I guess. Good chubby fingers, Mark. It'll be the widescreen, that's why. William Murphy said it made him look unflattering. Decided to go on a diet. So yeah, panel gaps are pretty good. It still needs some work yet, so don't think for one moment that's a finished article. I hope you've all enjoyed the regularity of the updates over this sort of festive period. It's quite nice to have the time at home, not be at work, and be able to get this done, because it does take time. And yeah, didn't have much planned over Christmas, apart from really working on the minis, so it's yeah, we've managed to make some great progress over the last couple of weeks. Sadly, back to work today though. So we're just drawing to an end now. So once again, thank you very much for tuning in. If you enjoyed the video, give it a thumbs up. If you're not a subscriber, please do consider subscribing. And we'll be back again very soon for the next update, which will be part 10 of the ERA build. Hope you all have a great day. Thank you.